I'm telling you, man, don't trust creepy white people.
No, you really shouldn't.
Greetings, everyone! I'm Count Jackula.
And I'm the Horror Guru.
And we just saw Midsommar.
Yeah, from the director of Hereditary, the big movie of the summer.
Yeah, from Ari Aster.
Yes. And of course, we're seeing it in late summer, early fall.
We're still midsummer. We're still midsummer. It's not quite August yet. You know?
That's true. Not quite. Just like a week away.
Yeah. Yeah. Although my initial impression after watching the movie is I'm like, wow, Ari Aster's been taking lessons from Nick Refn. Nick Refn, sorry.
There's a lot of Nick Refn in this, most definitely.
Yeah, particularly the pacing and how long the shots go on for.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I was like, oh shit, any minute Odin's gonna fucking come out of the goddamn forest.
What I do appreciate is that whether or not I fully understand what the point of the movie is, I was able to 100% follow the story.
Yeah,
which is not always the case with Refn.
Yes. Yes. Well, it's like the movie he did before this was Hereditary, which we also loved. Oh no. By the way, thumbs up.
Oh, big time.
Thumbs up.
If you like yourself some creepy cult movies, then this is definitely an interesting one to check out.
This is a great creepy cult movie, and it's also kind of Get Out for white people.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah.
It's like, run away, white people. Even white people gonna get you.
It's like if you cross something like Get Out with The Wicker Man, you'd basically kind of have this movie.
Yeah.
But I don't want to say The Wicker Man because that puts a movie in your head that you're expecting, and while some of those elements are here, it's still very different.
Yeah. It's not. Don't go in expecting The Wicker Man, although you can go in expecting certain elements are going to show up.
Yes.
You know, especially the ones that they don't hide from you, like, ooh, it's a Midsummer festival. Ooh, fire's somehow involved.
Yep.
You know, like,
why is that bear in a cage?
Oh my God. That was the movie. That was a question I was asking. I was like, why is that bear there? Because in the beginning of the movie, there's a bear.
Yeah, we're talking like really early on in the movie. Like they show you this bear in this cage, and you're just sitting there going like, man, how is this going to factor into shit?
Yeah, and when it does, you're sort of like, okay.
Like I have ideas about it, but we could talk about that when we get to the spoilers, because that was when the ending comes in, and that's a whole lot of shit to digest.
Yeah, there's a lot to unpack here. It starts out, it's about a girl in a shitty relationship.
Very shitty. With a very unattentive boyfriend that clearly wants out, but is too chicken shit just to leave.
Yeah, and as the movie goes on, we find out he's actually just a piece of shit.
Yeah. At first I was like feeling him a little bit. At first I was just like, okay, well, I can kind of understand if you're not quite happy in the relationship, but you don't want to be a jerk and just dump her, especially given what happens at the beginning of this movie. Yeah, because
at the beginning of the movie, her family dies.
Yeah. In a rather fucked up way. And so I'm like, okay, I'm kind of feeling him. But then as the movie goes on, it becomes clear, no, he's just a jackass.
Yeah.
100% jackass, and fuck him.
Yeah. Yeah. So the beginning of the movie basically opens up with her getting this like weird letter from her sister, who is basically saying goodbye. It turns out it's a suicide note. I
really liked that entire like opening sequence with that, because I've totally had that moment where you get like a cryptic message from like a friend, and it's your friend that you know has mental issues and like potentially could off themselves if the moment arised, and so you get that cryptic message, and the next thing you know, you're scrambling and calling everyone you know that can contact them.
Yeah,
you know, in this case, she's trying to call her parents, but just when you're not getting any responses from anyone, you just get more and more anxious as the night goes on, which is what we see her do at the beginning of the movie, and I related to that sequence. Yeah. It's really hard not to. It's really good. Mm-hmm. You know, so basically you're like, oh, so she's dealing with some shit. And she calls her boyfriend, and her boyfriend is kind of understanding to a certain... Oh, I'm not understand. He's not understanding of her. I understand his point of view.
Yeah.
At the beginning. Because it's one of those like, oh, she always sends you those messages and stuff like that, and she's kind of jerking you around. And I'm like, okay, I understand his point of view there because I've also been in that situation.
Yeah. You're telling the friend, like, no, you know that this is bullshit.
This person's using this to manipulate you and to constantly paying attention to them, and thus you're not paying attention to your own life, and you have shit to deal with. Yeah. And it's very selfish of them to do this. And I'm like, I've been in that scenario too, so I get this. But like I said, as the movie goes on, it becomes clear. No, he's just a piece
of shit. Yeah, he's just a piece of shit. So they're all apparently going on this expedition to like Sweden. With the Swedish.
Yeah,
with Swedish people.
To this Swedish commune that one of the boyfriend's friends grew up in. And they're all anthropologists. They're all trying to study to get into anthropology. So this will be a great opportunity for them, to figure out what they want to write for their thesis by going to this commune and living with this other culture for a week or so.
Yeah, definitely.
Especially since there's some giant festivity that's supposed to happen. So it's their opportunity to see this new festivity and write about it and become better anthropologists.
Yeah. Of course. I found myself immediately going,
No, bad idea.
No, terrible idea.
Do you want Cannibal Holocaust? Because
this is how you get Cannibal Holocaust.
This is how you get Cannibal Holocaust.
You don't want that. That's terrible. Especially gonna have to kill a turtle. It'll be horrible.
Especially given at the beginning of the movie, the group of friends are kind of giving off like the group of friends from Hostel vibes.
Oh God, they are really.
Really you're going here for this anthropology thing, but secretly you just want to bang a bunch of Swedish chicks.
Yep.
So you're just like, no, man, you guys are setting yourselves up to piss off some sort of culture.
And they do. So they get there. Obviously, there's a Midsummer festival. They get embroiled in it, and then the bodies start hitting the floor.
I think this is about the point we have to stop before we get to the spoilers. It gets graphic.
Yeah.
It's fucked up. It's a slow burn.
Yeah, it is a slow burn.
So you got to be in for a slow burn. If you liked Hereditary, you can probably tolerate this movie.
Yeah, but this movie's like almost 2.5 hours.
Oh, God, yeah.
And not a lot happens.
No, but you're given small pieces of things as it goes on that you can piece together the whole, and it takes a while to get there. But
I never wanted to pass out once during the film, but there were a few times where I was like, man, this is taking a hot second here.
It is. But I like a lot of the stuff that they kind of give you right up front that you're like, I can either take this one of two ways. And as the movie goes on, I'm like, okay, it's the bad way.
Yeah.
It's the bad way.
Yeah. Okay, so with that said, spoilers. I knew going in this movie was going to end one of two ways.
Oh, but yeah.
It was either girl's going to die, boy's going to die. Which one is it?
That's what I was trying to figure out. That's what I was trying to figure out most of the movie, because I was trying to figure out, like, okay, like, most of the movie is from her point of view. She's basically our protagonist. But is she going to end up like the Wicker Man, where she's up in fucking...
Yeah.
In the fucking wicker person being burned alive, or is this going to end differently? Because the other possibility that was starting to come up as the movie was going on is that this might end like the Vivitch.
Yeah.
Where she becomes...
like she joins the commune and shit,
yes. Which, we're in the spoilers, so that's the option we get.
That's what happens.
Which actually makes a lot of sense, because narratively, what I did follow in this movie pretty clearly is that you have this story of this girl whose family just essentially died as a result of her sister with bipolar disorder committing suicide and killing them with her.
Yeah.
And her boyfriend is this unattentive jackass that is too chicken shit to just break up with her, and so is constantly leading her on and not...
Oh, and just to nail the point home, so you don't think that it's her in any way... In the middle of the story, he fucks over one of his friends.
Oh my God,
and then fucks him over again.
That was the moment where I was like, okay, 100% just a jackass.
Yeah.
100%. And
just a selfish prick.
In a moment in her, at a point in time in her life where she desperately needs empathy, he's incapable of it.
Yeah, well, he's not just incapable of it. He's also like an emotionally manipulative asshole.
Yes,
it turns
100%.
out. Now, you don't really figure that out until after the fact, but damn.
There are moments where you're like, I could take it that way or I could not, but as the movie goes on, it becomes
very
clear.
Yeah.
One of the aspects of this cult is that they are incredibly empathetic. For all the fucked up shit they do, one of them gets hurt, all of them get hurt. Like all like
one cries, all of them cry,
and they do it in unison in this kind of cathartic, emotional experience. And of course, 90% of the time they're high throughout the movie, so they're like all like connected in that kind of high spiritual sense. So this is a cult built entirely around this kind of empathetic connection, and this girl who desperately needs empathy at a time in her life in which she lost her family.
Yeah.
So it makes perfect sense to me.
It made perfect sense that she joined them. I was just wondering if they're going to do it.
Exactly.
You know, like I was wondering the movie was going to do it.
And they do.
Yeah,
they do. And what I also like about this is that you have the boyfriend who's this unattentive piece of shit and emotionally manipulated and fucks over his friends. And his friends, at first, I thought his friends were the ones being jackasses.
Yeah, me too.
But then it becomes clear, it's like, oh, he's probably lying to them about the way he's talking about her.
Yeah, exactly.
Because when they're actually around her, they get along with her. And
they don't have any problem with her. They're just like, oh, she's okay. You know?
And then he turns around and fucks them over. And it's just like...
Yeah.
Well, okay, all right. But what I also like about this is that his name is Christian.
Exactly, yes.
And I was like, I'm wondering if that was intentional.
I heard that, and I was like, ooh... His name is Christian. He's going to some place. The movie's called Midsommar. Ooh, that's not gonna go well. That's got WICKERMAN all over it.
But up until she makes this turn and kind of decides to be part of the family, we have all this shit that's happening throughout the movie that's leading us to believe that shit's gonna end badly.
Oh yeah.
We first watch them do their, I guess, ritual killing. Technically, it's ritual suicide, but one of them doesn't die from the suicide, so they
yeah. Like when you reach 72, you're just supposed to die, and the way they do it, they have this big ceremony in the middle of Midsommar. You walk off a cliff, smash your head against a rock, and then if that doesn't kill you, 3 people come over with a giant hammer and just fucking smash your head open.
Yep.
And that is some beautiful shit that happens right there because we get to watch it happen.
I appreciated the Londoner because that one Londoner is the only one who reacted the way I would have.
Yes.
In that scenario. Like,
what the fuck?
I understood why the group of friends, while still being affected by it, did not react that way because they're supposed to be anthropologists. They're supposed to stand by and not judge, even though it obviously disturbs them. But the Londoner was the one who was acting like a real person and was just like,
what the fuck? So at that point, that guy's got to go.
Yeah.
He's got to go.
That guy's got to. And that's another part of this movie. It helps to understand that. To understand this movie, it helps to know a little bit about Viking mythology and practices. This becomes very important when someone becomes a blood angel.
Yes.
Which, if you know what a blood angel is, then you understand why you need to know what that is. Otherwise, you're going to be sitting there going, "What the fuck?"
Yeah. That happens. That fucking happens. I
was like, "What the fuck is going to be in this shed?" And then they show that, and I'm like, "Oh." Okay, all right. Well, that tells me that we are 100% Viking pagans.
Yeah. Because, you get to see the lungs work.
Yes. That was a really fucked up way to keep that person alive till the ritual. Like,
yeah. Yeah. They did just kill the one guy though.
Yeah, there was a couple people that they just flat out killed, but I like some of the stuff they did with that. Like, the person who was buried as like a tribute to the plants.
Yep. His foot hanging out, Well,
I sat there and it took me a while because I was just like, is that the dude's foot or the girl's foot? Because there was a girl who was also dark skinned, and I was trying to figure out which one it was.
Yeah.
And then I didn't see the girl in the hut at the end, so then I assumed it was her foot.
Oh, I think you're right. Yeah.
That was my assumption.
Right. They did get rid of her pretty quickly after.
Yes, and they said there was 4, and there was technically like 6 Americans.
Yeah.
So 4 got sacrificed. So 2 of them had other shit happen to them.
So the thing at the end, one of the aspects of this Midsommar Festival is that the girl who has come of age is expected to have sex with one of the outsiders that is brought in.
Because while they do have inbreeding in this, there's very specific ritual inbreeding that breeds their oracles. Yeah. Everyone else is supposed to bring someone in, and that's how they continue without, like, just being incestuous.
Yeah, without just being like Quasimodos, you know. So
that's part of the reason why the group of friends and everything is brought over, is basically like, here is a bunch of eligible bachelors for you to sleep with.
Yep. Two of our dudes go out, they find some other people, they bring them back, and you pick one of them to have a kid with.
Yeah, 100%. And her boyfriend is chosen by one of the girls, who performs a love spell on her. And we know it's a love spell because we saw it in a tapestry earlier in the movie. Yeah. That involves making him digest her pubic hair and making
her piss.
And drink her
urine.
It wasn't her urine, it was red.
It was red. Her menstrual blood.
It was her menstrual blood, because in the because it's supposed to be during her ovulation cycle.
Oh, you're right.
Because the idea is that they're breeding.
Yeah. Good
point. So it's even more fucked up than piss.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Wait, if she's bleeding, then okay, never mind.
Don't try to question it. Yeah. But like in the tapestry, it was red. Okay. So if it was supposed to be piss, I feel like it would have been yellow.
Got it.
And as well as putting runes underneath his bed and stuff like that. Now, I did not get the impression that the ritual spell like literally worked so much as they just got
just what they do.
This is just what they do.
There's no overt magic.
They got him super fucked up and then gave him some drugs that would make him really fucking horny, and so there's a girl with her legs spread.
I gotta say, when he eats the pie that has the pubic hair in it, I had South Park flashbacks. I was like, well, I made you eat your pig.
I should have seen the pubes coming because they set that up 100%, like with her with the pie and stuff like that. But for some reason, my brain was going to, we just heard the scream of what was obviously the Londoner chick.
The London girl, yeah.
So I was like, is it going to end up being like one of those meat pies?
Yeah. We're going to Sweeney Todd this.
Like, is this going to turn into Cannibal Holocaust for reals?
Yeah. Turns out, no. Cannibalism's actually something they don't do.
No. Seems like they eat their livestock. They're actual animals.
Yeah, and then they set those animals up, actually.
Yeah, they do.
You know, they're wandering around.
You see them throughout the movie. You see the cows. You see the pigs, You
know, they obviously also have sheep because the oracle sits on this big fluffy cloud that's made out of, like, sheep wool.
Yep.
But, dude, like, everything about... The minute you walk in, everything smacks of the wacky tobacco.
Well, here's the thing. If it wasn't for them being anthropologists...
you couldn't buy it at all.
I would have been like, you all should be like the Londoner right now. You should all be trying to leave and them fucking stopping you.
Yeah.
Like what happens to the Londoner. He gets stopped off screen and turned into a blood angel.
Yeah.
You find out later. But because they're anthropologists and they're trying to like actually study the culture and not judge it despite its ritual sacrificing nature, I at least understood why they were still there. That being said, why the fuck did you bring your girlfriend to that?
Yeah, no crap,
your girlfriend
man.
Who just fucking lost her family, you brought her to this? Like, you didn't even... I get that you didn't know that was going to happen, but you knew that was a possibility. Like,
yeah. You knew some intense shit was likely to happen. Why did...
Because there's literally a point in which a character mentions, oh, you're going to do that ritual. Oh, have they been chosen? And the other person's like, what ritual? What's going on? Yeah. And the guy doesn't answer it for him because he already knows. And I'm like, so you already know people are going to die.
Yeah.
And you're not telling your friends. And the girl with potential PTSD you're not going to tell. God damn it. Like,
yeah. Not, you're like, oh, dude, not cool. Not cool at all.
I do like the little touches throughout the movie.
Yes.
Like the reference when they're like, oh, what are those kids all doing? Oh, they're playing Skin the Fool. And then later, a character actually is wearing skin.
He's wearing a dude's skin. And then when they burn the skinned fool, it's just his skin
in straw
with the jester's hat on.
I liked how they were all kind of like ritually set up. Like one of them's like as a tree.
Yeah.
With like a tree growing out of their skin. Like one of them's a straw man. Literal straw man,
yeah.
The boyfriend gets put inside the bear. Now, I don't know what metaphorical sense the bear...
I was trying to figure out...
Now, they say in the movie that it's supposed to represent all, like, the negative aspects of society, so we're casting it out. But I don't know in a mythological sense where that comes from, the bear specifically.
Clue. I'm like, I was looking at that and I'm like, I have no idea what this bear is about.
I just know in the context of the movie what they tell us.
Yeah. Yeah. You get that it's part of the ritual, but it's like, what part of, like... I really wasn't expecting the sew a guy into a bear suit Tusk style.
But you know what? Thank you. I needed to see that because I wanted that boyfriend dead so bad.
God, no, you just
I hated that guy. Oh my God. The other friends, for all their faults, I was like, all right, whatever. But the boyfriend was just a piece of garbage. Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
The moment he walks into his friend and was just like, just so you know, I'm going to be studying this tribe as my thesis. But that's my thesis.
Yeah.
And just like, you could do something different. You could, you're going to be going to Germany too and studying that tribe or whatever, but I'm going to be specifically doing this tribe. It's like, but this is what I've been wanting to do. This is what I've been preparing for. This is this is what my entire fucking life's work currently is going to be about. Why are you doing this to me? And then later when he's just, when the guy asks him something, he's like, what did you figure out about like this particular ritual? Cause I couldn't find anything about it. It's like, oh, now you want to work with me? I'm like, you didn't go to him and ask him to work with you.
Yeah.
You fucking went to him and told him you were just doing it. If the possibility of you two working together was a factor, that should have been your opening.
Yeah. And you're just sitting there going, God, this guy's such a fucking piece
he's such a super dick. And every time something bad happens, he just kind of like brushes it off to his girlfriend. I'm like, come on, dude. Even if you're gonna be like, I'm gonna be a little open-minded about this, you can at least go to your girlfriend. Yeah, it's pretty fucked up. Like,
no kidding.
Like, give her a little bit of empathy. But I mean, that's the story. She gets empathy from this village
weird cult.
I did like their backstory. I was like, oh, is this supposed to be like a story of Pan? Because they tell his story of like
the dark
one that brings the women into the field and dances with them. I'm assuming naked from what they describe.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, is this the story of Pan, or is there something? There might be something else like in Norse mythology that I'm missing.
I'm not sure. I'm assuming it involves a bear.
I mean, it might.
Oh my God! There's a bear in this movie.
And it's in a fucking cage.
Yes. And the movie even goes, "Why is that bear in the cage?" And they're just like,
I love the way they handled that. Where it's just like, "Are we just gonna not mention the bear in a cage over there?"
Yeah. Nope, we're not. We're just not gonna mention it.
And here's the thing: you only have so much time to think about that because then it immediately shows you like the tapestry with the love spell on it.
Yeah. It's. The movie's really well crafted.
I love the little details like the her sleeping in her bed at the beginning of the movie after her family's died, and there's this picture of like this little like Red Riding Hood looking girl and this big old bear.
Yeah.
I like that by the end of the movie, metaphorically, she's getting rid of her bear.
Yeah. She's gotten rid of the piece of shit boyfriend.
Exactly.
She's gotten rid of Christian. He's gone now.
And I like those little details.
Yeah.
That's the kind of stuff that like a movie doesn't necessarily need, but it enhances it if you do it.
Yeah. It's kind of funny. This is like, man, people really doing these like art house horror movies.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like kind of impressed.
These, like indie art house, I don't know what to call them.
And I'm surprised that they're getting popular.
Oh yeah.
Like
Midsommar got an actual fucking theatrical release.
I know. This is normally like the kind of thing it'd be like, all right, VOD, click.
Well, like with Hereditary, that did festivals before it ended up like doing this stuff, and I'm pretty sure Midsommar did too.
Yeah,
but it seemed like it already had like a release date before like it did the festival.
Well, I think the idea was that they just funded his second movie based on Hereditary.
And thank fuck for it because I'm liking these. I'm also liking that creepy cult movies are in. I enjoy myself a creepy cult movie. This one's not, even though there's a dark one, it's not particularly Satanist.
No, it's not really Satan. Yeah.
It's obviously supposed to be way more pagan, even though they mention a dark one.
Yeah, whatever
but
that
could be Pan, not necessarily the devil.
The devil, yeah.
Like that could be figure like that, so who knows?
Yeah, we have no idea.
And I also like these, like, taking a fucked up situation like that and distilling it to this, like, really simple human story of just this girl that just wants someone to hold her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's all she wants, all she needs, but, like,
I do love the way they handled the drug sequence when she first gets high.
when stuff starts breathing.
And I like that later on in the movie that they call back to that. They don't have to go as far the next time.
Yeah.
But like just the fact the entire like dance and the sequence, like if you're barely paying attention, you might not notice it. But like one of the flowers in her hair is just constantly breathing. Yeah, just
constantly breathing in and out.
And I was just like, that's a nice detail. And it kind of what I liked about it is it clues you into when she's high and when she's sober.
Yeah.
When the flower stops is when she's sobered up a bit, which is around the time she discovers her boyfriend's banging this chick inside this ritual.
Yeah.
Which it took me a while to realize they were doing the empathy thing while they were fucking.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out what the I mean, I was like, all right, so the girl's in the center, she's surrounded by flowers, all the other women in the village are
it seems
around
specifically all the older women.
Yeah.
Because the younger women all went out with
right, not like the little kids.
Yeah, it's all like, the older women.
You know, all the women who've obviously already done this or whatever.
The women of fall, because there's the spring.
There's yeah.
Because they're all their cycle of life is seasons.
Right. And so as the girl is crying out, so do all the other women,
and they all start making this chanting noise of, and it took me a while to realize that that's the fucking grunting, but they're all doing it in unison.
Yeah. I really.
You know, something that I feel bad about is I feel bad how inherently creepy it is when it's an old lady naked and how inherently funny it is when a dude's naked. Because when the old ladies
that whole scene is predicated on that.
When the old ladies were all naked, it was like, oh man, that's creepy looking. But then when the dude walks in and his robe disrobes and his dick is dangling, I couldn't help but
yeah.
I just started laughing. I'm just like it's not like he walked in like a fucking strutting his stuff. It's just kind of pathetically I'm naked now.
Dick there.
When he starts running around.
Yeah. Oh man, you can tell that was on purpose.
Oh yeah,
you can tell that was on purpose. You know. Oh, all right. So anyway. Where can they find you?
I am the Horror Guru. You can find me at the Horror Guru on Twitter, on Twitch, on YouTube, on Facebook. Just look up the Horror Guru or Blood Splattered Cinema, and I'll be there.
And you know me, I am Count Jackula. I am on Twitter. I am on Instagram. And every Saturday at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, I stream. And I also stream on Sunday at 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Eastern, West, look, time zones will be on there. Figure it out. And we talk about all kinds of groovy things like, rituals, human sacrifice, paganism, and the devil. Satan, and we hope to see you there because, hey, the more the merrier. And until then, I guess, we got that Patreon.
Check it out.
Yep.
Even if you can only do $1 a month, it can go a long way.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. So, until next time, Ave Satanas, Disco Inferno, and keep watching fucked up movies. I don't know if I want to go to Sweden now.
I mean, the chicks were hot.
Yeah, but then they burn you alive.